This one is for my boys who quote Nietzsche after 2 sips of Four Loko. Cheers. A Clockwork Orange is a 1971 dystopian film, written and directed by Stanley Kubrick, based directly off of Anthony Burgess's 1962 novel of the same name. On a $1.3 million budget, the film grossed $114 million worldwide. Holy moly, that is a smash hit, babes! To close out August, which is a month I have dedicated to the boys, I figured we would visit this little strange, controversial work of art. I have friends who still have not seen this movie, and it's because of it's just, first of all, it's the nature of the movie, but definitely like the first, I want to say 20 minutes or so, like they look at me sideways and they're like, no, but you have to look past that, because the movie is doing more than that. It's saying more than that. Malcolm McDowell, the lead actor, said when this came out, audiences didn't get it. It wasn't until the 21st century that audiences started seeing it for what it actually was, a black comedy. The film's even had many re-releases over the years. In a not so distant future where teen boys dress like gay mimes and speak like Shakespeare on acid, A Clockwork Orange follows Alex, a milk-chugging, Beethoven-obsessed psychopath who's into ultraviolence, ultraviolins, and violating the concept of free will. But when the state decides to fix him through psychological torture disguised as therapy, the real question becomes, who's the big monster, the boy or the system that broke him? Stanley Kubrick's first cut, before hiring several assistant editors, ran almost 4 hours, and all the unused footage Kubrick had his assistant destroy. The film was also unavailable for public viewing in the UK from 1973 to 2000. British video stores got so many requests that some put up signs that read, "No, we do not have A Clockwork Orange." Mind you, it wasn't banned there and it was released in cinemas, but with an X rating. It was Stanley Kubrick himself who had the film withdrawn from distribution due to death threats and 2 reported copycat crimes linked to the film. In the 1980s and 1990s, British fans who wanted to see it had to order it from video stores or import it from other countries, usually France. In 1993, London Scala Film Club showed the movie without permission. At Kubrick's insistence, Warner Bros. Sued and won, causing the Scala to close in near bankruptcy. And in 2001, the year after Kubrick died, the film was released throughout Great Britain with an 18 rating. So strap in, my little droogs and devotchkas, because tonight we're diving headfirst into pure white milk, ultraviolence, and one hell of a Beethoven obsession. The film opens immediately on a title card before cutting to our demented and sick protagonist, Alex. Strike one is him having this skinny glass of milk, and you know what they say about people who drink milk in a glass by itself. Like, y'all are weird. I'm sorry, you're a serial killer. The hell? His 3 droogs, as he calls them, sit beside him, Pete, Dim, and Georgie. They're in this very strange, very alien-like bar called Korova. I don't even know if I will be able to get away with these statues, but we gonna find out. Alex tells us that a good glass of milk will sharpen you up and make you ready for a bit of the old ultraviolence. I believe that he has a Scottish accent, or that's what Malcolm was doing. I can't do that, so, you know, I'm gonna stay on my, whatever I be doing, probably like, I would say, West London, no, I'm talking with my bruv, no. Okay, maybe not so urban, because he don't talk like that, but, you know. But I'm speaking the voice that I know, so you're just gonna have to get used to it. This drunk man is lying in the street singing his tunes, getting his gig, when Alex and the boys roll up on him because they want to have fun. And what do we boys like to do for fun? We like to beat people up. Demons of the night. Inside a theater, a guy named Billy Boy and his friends are in the middle of assaulting a woman, about to perform the old, what Alex says multiple times throughout the film, he calls it the old in out, in out.
What do you mean by that?
And Billy Boy and his boys are interrupted by Alex and the Droogs, so the woman runs free. This dialogue is truly something else. I used to own the book, but I couldn't even get past 15 pages because every other word was some British slang term. So much so that it would take me like a few minutes to like really realize what the hell he was talking about. So I'm sorry, babe. Sorry, Anthony. I had to stick to the movie. Anyway, Alex is like, "How art thou, you gloomy bottle of cheap stinking chip oil?" Like, huh? I mean, look at this guy. He just looks like a rapist. Alex tells him to come down and catch this fade, so Billy pulls out the switchblade. But you know, Alex and Droogies, they stand on business. Smashing chairs, flipping these boys over, going bananas. It's not so much fighting as it is everyone being smashed on the ground or through windows. But Alex senses something. The police! And they're like, oh, hell nah. And hop in the milkmobile, zooming through the roads, making multiple cars and bikes swerve. Just a mess. The brothers look for more shenanigans and ultraviolence to get into and stumble upon a house. A man named Mr. Alexander is typing away on his typewriter when he hears the doorbell. His wife, Miss Alexander, goes to answer. Even though I definitely couldn't live there, I love their house. It's so eccentric and whimsical. The foyer is so cool. Alex is telling Miss Alexander that his friend is in the middle of the road. She's bleeding, like, please, I need some help. I need to use your phone. And she's reluctant at first, as she should. You know, that woman intuition was kicking in, but Mr. Alexander tells her to just let the boys in. And as soon as she takes the chain off, they shuffle in, grabbing her, laughing and screaming, kick the husband in the face, and Alex begins singing in the rain. Every other beat, kicking the husband in the stomach. This entire scene is unfortunate. In short, because we don't need to stay on these scenes longer than we need to, little Ali assaults the woman right in front of her husband. This entire singing in the rain number was not even in the script. Kubrick spent 4 days experimenting with the scene, finding it to be too conventional, so eventually he asked Malcolm McDowell if he could dance. Malcolm started singing like the first song that came to his mind, which was Singing in the Rain. Like, oh, okay. Why would you sing that with the nature of the scene? But okay. And Kubrick was so amused that he bought the rights for it for $10,000. And $10,000 converted to today, woo, that's almost $80,000.
Damn.
Malcolm met Gene Kelly from the OG film at a party several years later, and Gene turned and walked away in disgust, deeply upset about the way his signature, beloved musical number had been portrayed within the film. Right after this, they casually go back to the bar, and there's a section where some TV executives are hanging. A woman starts singing a classical song, and Alex tells us how it was almost as if a great bird had flown into the milk bar, and all the hairs on my body lifted up like. He recognizes what the woman is singing as a bit from The Ninth by Ludwig van. Dim starts making fart noises like the little ignorant he is, and Alex slams his stick in his lap for being a bastard with no manners. And little big back Dim, his ignorant ass, he's had enough. He tells Alex, I'm not your brother and I wouldn't want to be. Basically, suck my balls. Alex lives with his mom and father in a flat inside this building that is horribly vandalized. The elevator doors don't work, there's trash everywhere, like what the hell? This dude's got some obscene artwork in his room, and in his drawer he's got money, scattered with about 30 or so stolen watches. Mind you, this character is 15 years old. He need an ass whooping, especially. Oh, he just needs like a good, strong, ethnic ass whooping. Let me quote Chris Chambers from Stand By Me, which is a video I literally just did. If your parents are too fucked up to do it, then maybe I should. Bro's even got a pet snake chilling in his drawer. Like, this is evil. Since it's been such a wonderful evening, what Alex needs now is to give it the perfect ending and play some Ludwig van. Look at this guy talking about talk about he don't know how to control himself and how he feels bliss in heaven. You don't know anything about that, little boy. You better forget that word, forget that H word, because that's not where you going. Through the music, he pictures lovely sights, you know, like women in white dresses getting hung, buildings exploding, Twilight vibe, silly goofy mood.
Oh Lord, I'm sorry. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood.
His mum wakes him up at 8 a.m. the next morning, telling him to get up so he doesn't miss school. But he says he's not feeling well. He has not been to school all week. And the mom is just like, okay. No backbone, no discipline, no nothing. I would have grabbed a tall, good 10-inch stainless steel pan, filled it up with ice cold, maybe put some ice cubes in there, kicked that fucking door down and threw it over and be like, get your ass up. I'm recognizing his dad as the butler in The Shining, who was out here dropping the hard ER. But yeah, none of them know where he goes at night or what time he comes in. Weak. Not to mention, the boy has a combination to enter his bedroom. Oh my god, like, it gets worse. It just gets worse. The hell, you in my house. Damn combination. Man, yeah. Later, Alex gets his nasty ass up scratching and digging for gold when he has to do a double take and sees Mr. Deltoid. His brother saw him on her way to work at the factory and gave this man a key to her house. Alex brings up his mother saying he didn't feel good and that's why he's not at school, but Deltoid knows exactly what the gag is and he tells him to take a seat. This man is his post-corrective advisor and he warns Ali to watch out because next time it's not going to be the corrective school. Next time it's going to be the Barley place. And if he's no respect for him horrible self, then he at least might have some respect for Mr. Deltoid who sweated over him. Because every kid who ends up in the strippy hole is a mark on his record. Deltoid even knows all about what happened with Billy Boy. And okay, I get that, but why are you touching up on him like this? All he got on is tidy whities. Let's not be weird. He even grabs his crotch after threatening him a final time. This is assault and pepper. Deltoid says even though Alex has a good home and good parents, he's still a little shit. Is it some devil that crawls inside of you, my boy? He grabs the glass off the nightstand sometime during this and takes a sip, not realizing one of the parents' dentures are in it. And that's exactly what you get, you creep. Alex goes window shopping, stopping by a man's stand for something he ordered 2 weeks ago, checking if it's ready. I peep a little 2001 Space Odyssey vinyl. Okay, Easter egg. There's two girls at the stand and you know Alex is gonna slither in between them and do what he can to chat them up and give them the old in out. He persuades them to come to his little sparkling bedroom and they have a threesome and the footage is sped up. But not only is the footage sped up, the whole take lasted 28 minutes. 28 minutes. Stanley, what's even more disturbing about this scene and this situation is that in the book, these two girls were 10 years old.
What the fuck is going on here?
One day, Alex's droogs are hanging in the lobby of his complex and the fallout begins. They laugh at his fake illnesses and he's pretty much being the bitter left out leader. His brothers want him to stop picking on them so much, taking a big cut of the little change they get when out and about with their ultraviolence and so on. So while walking along the flat block marina, Alex thought to himself all the stuff Georgie was saying about what they were to do and what not to do. You see, they tested his authority and now they're gonna get it. Alex knocks Georgie in the bulge and kicks him in the water. Dim tries to hit him with the chain, but Alex ducks and he goes in, holding his hand out to help his brother out the water, drawing a dagger from inside its cover and slicing his hand. Alex didn't cut an important cable though, so his hand eventually stopped bleeding, and these two wounded soldiers were as quiet as mice. Now they knew who was master and who was leader. Alex pushes Georgie to tell him more about an idea he had that he brought up earlier, which is to visit a farm a bit out of town, owned by a rich Plitza who lives there with her cats. The place is shut down for a week and she's completely on her own. Miss Weathers is stretching her body in this wide room with a bunch of kitties, as Georgie says the place is full of gold and silver and jewels. The hooligans visit her and start sporadically banging on her mailbox flap on the door, using the same excuse for the Alexanders about there being an accident. She's not stupid though, and she tells them there's a telly up the road, and she never opens the door after dark for strangers. Very well, Alex says. He's going to try and get help at the pub and apologizes. But what they actually do is just go in the back of her house, climb up a ladder, get inside, and unlock the back door. Miss Weathers is on the phone dialing for the popo, telling them a young man rang the bell asking to use the phone. But the thing that caught her attention was what he said. His words sounded like those quoted in the papers this morning, in connection with the writer and his wife who were assaulted. As soon as the phone call ends, Alex comes into the room. They have a back and forth, and he calls her naughty with all the sexual artwork around her house. Tell me about it. I'm gonna have to do a lot of blurring here. When she asks Alex what he wants, he says he's taking part in an international student contest to see who can get the most points for selling magazines. And Miss Weather says one of my favorite catchphrases. It's top five of my vocabulary.
Cut the shit, Sonny.
He keeps smacking her penis piece and she picks up a small silver statue ready to beat him senseless. They start going around in circles, she's swinging and missing. So Alex takes the statue and knocks her straight in the face, just as the pigs can be heard outside. All the brothers are waiting by the door for Alex when he comes out. He tells the droogs, "Let's go, the police are here," and Dem swipes him across the face with a glass bottle of milk, and Alex drops on the ground screaming,
I'm blind, you bastard! I can't see!
Alex is captured, but he won't say a word unless his lawyer is present. So the sergeant gets his right-hand man, Tom, to show Alex that they also know the law. Alex looks a lot like Evan Peters here. Tom presses down on Alex's nose. Alex grabs his crotch, and the inspector jumps up, socking him. Mr. Deltoid pays a visit, and when he walks in the room, Alex is on the ground with blood all over him, and Deltoid tells him, it's the end of the line for me, buddy. You know, it's above me. Right? Alex is talking about his treacherous droogs. Get them before they get away. It was all their idea. I'm innocent. But Alex is now a murderer. He thinks he just tapped her, but Miss Weathers is confirmed dead. She died later in the hospital. Tom tells Deltoid that if he'd care to give him a bash in the chops, they don't mind holding him down. But instead, he just spits in Alex's face.
Oh my goodness.
Listen.
You smell that shit?
After Alex's trial, he's sentenced to 14 years in Staja number 84F, booked and processed. He is now to only be addressed as number 655321. They are not playing with his ass. He's screamed at for not being behind the white line. They tell him to empty his pockets and set it on the table correctly instead of slamming it down. I mean, you know, this is long overdue. We're right with him through this entire process, through every question, every inspection, and after he strips, the sergeant looks inside his Okay. Bro checks his booty hole for any venereal diseases or perhaps anything he may be hiding. Then he sent for the showers. 2 years later, during a preacher's sermon, an older man is making kissy faces at Alex, whose job is to turn the lyrics to a song all the boys are forced to sing. What the hell? The fella's been kicked and tortured by brutal wardens. He's met leering criminals and perverts who were ready to dribble all over a luscious young male chick such as our protagonist. He's had a hard time, guys. Not that you should feel bad, but you know. It was Alex's job to help the prison Charlie with the Sunday device. He was a bastard, but very interested in Alex being so young and so interested in the big book. And when he's saying all this, he starts having sick fantasies of being a Roman soldier whipping Jesus. Like, what? Okay. Talking about the stories of the Bible he fancied, the violence, people getting into bed with their wives, handmaidens. It kept him going. He talks to his Charlie about a new treatment he's interested in that gets you out in no time. Now, the only reason he knows about this is because of the chatting wardens. How about putting me in for this new treatment, he says. This treatment is called the Ludovico technique, and all Alex knows about it is the name and that it gets you out in no time and makes sure that you never come back. The priest tells him it's only in the experimental stage and his knowledge is not entirely true. It's not used in this current prison because the governor has doubts about it. And he also heard there are very serious dangers involved. But do we care about danger? No, my brothers. Alex just wants to be good. Alex wants the rest of his life to just be one good act. Find it. Of kindness. His superior says, but it's not about if this is going to make you good. This technique. Goodness comes from within, my boy. Goodness is chosen. And when a man cannot choose, he ceases to be a man. Yeah. During some circular exercise, all the prisoners are ordered to make 2 lines up against the wall. Some higher-ups come out and the man in the gray suit is the minister of the interior. Him and his team walk along the boys, and when they get by Alex, he speaks out of line. The sergeant tells him what Alex is in for, and he's rather amused, calling Alex enterprising, aggressive, outgoing, young, bold, vicious. He will do. The vicious young hoodlum will be transformed out, and shortly thereafter, he's signing multiple papers, even beginning to, read.
Don't read it, sign it!
Y'all better read them contracts before you sign your life away. The next morning, Alex is taken to the Ludovico medical facility, and we meet Dr. Alcott, Alex's assigned overseer, who signs off on being handed him. Alex meets a woman named Dr. Branham, who interrupts his breakfast to let him know in a few moments he'll meet Dr. Brodsky and begin treatment. It's a lot of doctors, I know, but just keep up. I mean, they're kind of not that important. You don't really need to know their names. The doctor and nurse assistant begin loading him up a serum. When Alex asks if this is going to put him to sleep, she's he's like, LOL, well, no.
Vitamins will it be then?
Something like that.
No.
Little Alexander is malnourished, so after every meal, he must be given a shot in the ass. Alex asks exactly what the treatment's gonna be, and all she says is, we're going to show you some films. He thinks it's gonna be just like the pictures. No. No, it's not. Alex is bound in a straitjacket strapped to a headrest with wires that are clamping his lids open, and though he's hesitant, he's willing to put up with whatever to be free. As if you had a choice anymore. You already signed the papers. Through this entire process, his eyes have to keep getting drops for lubrication every 10 to 20 seconds, and the man who is doing it is like a real-life doctor. This would not be a Stanley Kubrick without the actor suffering some type of trauma, you know? Malcolm McDowell's eyes were giving anesthesia for the torture scene, so he was able to film for periods of time without too much discomfort, and his corneas got repeatedly scratched by the metal lid locks. The first feature Alex is shown is a violent film with 3 guys in white pounding a man in a suit, and at first Alex says how it was joyful, but then he started to feel sick. He thinks it's the food and the vitamins. The next film is a woman getting the old in out, and this went on with 6 or 7 women, and by that time he really felt sick, but he couldn't close his eyes. There are a bunch of doctors at the top of the theater, and Dr. Brodsky tells his colleagues very soon now the drug will cause the patient to experience a death-like paralysis with deep feelings of terror and helplessness. An old patient has described this as death, stifling, or drowning. Branham tells Alex that Brodsky is pleased with his reaction to the first treatment, and tomorrow he's got 2 sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. He'll be limp by the end of the day, but they have to be hard on him. He needs to be cured. Alex is like, it was horrible, and she's like, no shit, violence is terrible. We start hearing Symphony number 9, 4th movement, moving into the next scene as we're shown black and white footage of those mother truckers that start with the letter N. No, not that one. Get, don't. Alex is screaming, stop it, please! It's a sin! It's a sin! Using Ludwig van like that, he did no harm to anyone. Brodsky tells his assistant he can't be helped and must continue.
I'm cured! Praise God!
Baby, we're only on the 2nd day. You talking about some you cured. No, you're not. No, you're not. Keep watching. The thing is, he's saying all the right things, but it's not about saying them, it's about feeling. And I'm pretty sure the next scene, like, a bit of time passes, but I can't really tell. I'm assuming Stanley just, can I have a title? Can I have something? You know, 8 months later, something. The inspector puts Alex on stage before an adult audience, undrugged, unhypnotized, and reveals the next day that Ali will be sent out into the world with confidence. Prison taught him the false smile, the rubbed hands of hypocrisy, but our party promised to restore law and order. The problem of criminal violence is about to be a thing of the past, my brothers. But enough words. Actions speak louder than. Come. A man comes out insulting Alex and picking a fight with him, to the point where he starts slapping him. And ooh, we can see Alex trying to contain himself. By the way, Malcolm suffered from cracked ribs from doing this scene so many times, and we don't know how many times Stanley made him do it. When he gets Alex on the ground, Alex is talking about how he's gonna be sick. And the man says if he wants to get up, he's gonna have to lick the bottom of his shoe. And that's what he does. Ooh! But then the next test is a fully nude woman. I mean, the music changes. Like, this is the real test here. Alex's first thought was how he'd like to have her right there on the floor with the old in-out, real savage-like. And he lifts his hands around her chest, but he's not able to, he can't actually touch it because that sickness comes right on. Damn. The inspector tells the crowd Alex has been impelled towards the good by paradoxically being impelled towards evil. The temptation to act violently is accompanied by strong feelings of physical distress. So it seems this little experiment has worked, eh? And the very next day, friends, he was a free man. Fixed. Praise God. When Alex comes home, his room is completely changed, and it appears the fam have found another boy to fill the void. His dad's all shaken and nervous because he was just reading the paper about his son, the murderer, being free and cured. This new son is Joe, the lodger. He rents Alex's room, and he's not letting this little heathen intimidate him. He stands up, inching him off, telling Alexander he knows who he is and what he's done, how he broke the heart of his grieving parents, and over his dead body will Alex arrive back to be a misery. Joe is more of a son than you are, bitch. Alex lifts his fist to punch Jojo, but he freezes, shaking. Womp womp. All of Alex's belongings were taken away by the authorities, and his snake passed away. Aww. I wouldn't care unless it was a dog or a cat or something. He asks what's gonna happen with him, and everyone looks to the father, who says they can't just kick Joe out. I mean, we made an arrangement, a 2-year contract. Anyway, Joe already paid next month's rent too. Alex starts weeping like a baby, but Joe tells his parents to let this young delinquent learn the error of his ways. So Alex is like, oh, I see. I've suffered and I've suffered, and everybody wants me to keep on suffering.
You've made others suffer. It's only right that you should suffer proper.
But anywho,
So shall it lie heavy on their consciences. Alex is now leaving the building. He walks through the streets staring into oblivion when approached by the older homeless man from earlier in the film, who asks for change, and Alex gives him some. God just gave you 2 brownie points on the chalkboard, Alex. Go on here, boy. Right after this, the man recognizes Alex as the leader of the Droogs and takes him to his homeless crew to get jumped. They take his things till 2 pigs break it up. But who are the piggies here? I mean, this is but the cycle of life, right? His old brothers take him into the middle of nowhere, walking him out half a mile, and the camera sits on a long-ass take while they beat him up and hold his head in the water for a full minute. And yes, Malcolm had a breathing piece in the water. When finished, they uncuff him, then leave him in the woods. That night, it's pouring down rain, nephew's got nowhere to go, and finds himself back at the Alexanders. The husband is now in a wheelchair, and he's got a muscle head living with him, Julian, the bodyguard. Why is he Brad Majors on steroids? There's no answer when Julian asks who is it, so he opens the door anyway, and Alex falls inside. Julian carries him into the living room, and right when Alex gets a look at Mr. Alexander, he realizes exactly where he's at. But he knew this older man wouldn't recognize him because they wore masks. Duh. Oh, but yes, he realizes who Alex is. Oh, yes. You're the boy in the newspaper. The poor victim of that horrible, horrible technique. And Alex is like, yes, that's exactly what I am, sir. A victim, sir. Mr. Alexander orders Julian to draw a bath for Alex.
Mother, run a bath!
In the tub, Alex is humming, singing in the rain, and outside his door... let's just say Mr. Alexander is having deja vu. After his bath, they leave out spaghetti and wine for him. For a second, Alex thinks he's done something to the wine because of, I mean, look at how he's looking at him. Slamming the bottle, being passive aggressive. He's even trying to look inside it, reading the bottle, but he chugs it and it's fine. Mr. Alexander pours him more and brings up his wife, who is now dead. She was raped and assaulted by vicious young hoodlums in this very room, and he was left a helpless cripple. But for her, the agony was too great. The doctors called it pneumonia because it happened later during a flu epidemic, but oh, he knew what it was. Mr. Alexander phoned for some friends while Alex was having a bath that want to help him. And right on time, the bell rings. This man and woman are investigators to hear about what happened to Alex with these police officers he claimed beat him up. They start asking questions about the conversion facility and whatnot. He's rigidly answering about how when he hears the 9th symphony, he wants to die, and at any second he feels something terrible is going to happen to him. Yeah, we saw that coming. If anybody is pressing you to drink something, come on now, it's drug. It's drugs, been drug. When Alex wakes, he's in a room hearing Ludwig van being blasted through the floor. Bro starts going bananas, and Frank is underneath him with the detectives and Julian. And suddenly, he knew what he must do to stop the noise. Blast off forever from this wicked world. And though he jumped hard, my brothers, Alex did not indeed snuff it. There's a nurse and doctor just behind a curtain, and they both run when realizing Alex has regained consciousness. Headlines line newspapers on Alex's condition caused by the minister, and his reputation is deteriorating by the minute. Another day, Alex's parents visit because they think they also had some part in Alex wanting to do himself in. A psychiatrist named Dr. Taylor greets Alex saying she's going to show him some slides, and she wants him to tell her what he thinks about them. Alex tells Dr. Taylor about this dream he had where all these doctors were playing with his Gulliver, which is the inside of his brain, and she's like, this is all part of the recovery process. Time passes and Alex is fed from nurses when one day he was visited by a special visitor. Well, if it isn't Minister Demon. He starts helping him eat and apologizes for all of this getting out of hand. They want to regard Alex as friends, right? I mean, he's getting the best of treatment and they never wished him any harm, but there are some who did and some who do. There are people who want to use Alex for politics and who would have been glad to have him unalived. There's also a certain man, a writer of submersive literature, who has been howling for Alex's blood. Mad with desire to stick a knife in this young shag. But he's safe from him now. Alex had done wrong to this man, or at least he believed he'd been done wrong, and when Alex leaves this joint, he'll have a good job and a great salary. The minister tells him that he can be instrumental in changing the public verdict and opinion on the government. So Alex is starting to understand where all of this is going. And as a symbol of understanding between two friends, they have arranged a special music number for Allie while in bed. A bunch of men swarm in with a record player, flowers, photographers. Then they start snapping pics of Alex and the inspector. It's all smiles till we see a visual in Alex's head of him trying to hold a woman down on him in the snow with a bunch of bystanders.
I was cured, all right.
There's something so uniquely devastating about watching a boy be erased. Not killed, not punished, not redeemed, just hollow. Until what's left is movement without motive, a smile without soul, a body stripped of desire, violence, and autonomy, neutered into something unthreatening, politely palatable, clockwork. This is the ending A Clockwork Orange gives us. Not closure, not justice, just absence. Absence of self, of choice, of boyhood. Alex DeLarge begins as the embodiment of everything we fear in young men. He's violent, remorseless, terrifyingly charismatic, and hurts because he can. He leads because no one has the balls to stop him, and his ultraviolence is framed not just as thrill-seeking, but as a birthright. And we're meant to be disgusted by him, but also captivated. Kubrick films these very unsettling scenes like opera. He lets the horror wear a grin in a bowler hat, daring us to look, daring us to enjoy it. And that's the trap. Because this isn't just a story about a monster. It's a story about how society creates monsters, and then just as quickly destroys them without ever acknowledging its role in the making. When Alex is finally caught, the state doesn't ask why he is the way he is. It doesn't reflect, it retaliates with science and shame, with state-sponsored moral reprogramming. They don't want him to understand the harm he's done. They want him physically incapable of repeating it. They strip his agency, his impulses, and his very ability to choose. He doesn't become good, he just becomes obedient. Isn't that what we've always wanted from boys like him? This is the cruel paradox of masculinity. Boys are raised to suppress, dominate, conquer, and then punished when that conditioning erupts into something feral. We want to tell them to be strong, but shame them for becoming brutal. We feed them power, then cage them when they use it. Clockwork Orange lays that contradiction bare. It shows us what happens when a boy becomes everything he was taught to admire, and then gets discarded like a failed experiment. Our little Alex is not a hero, but a product of a culture that treats manhood like violence in a suit, of a state that treats behavior like code to be rewritten, of a world that wants boys to be tough, but not dangerous, expressive, but only in ways that don't disrupt the system. So what do we do with a boy who can no longer sin, who no longer feels rage or lust or a longing? Is that safety or spiritual death? The tragedy of A Clockwork Orange isn't that Alex gets what he deserves, it's that in trying to fix this boy, they erase attributes of him that made him human. But maybe that was the point. Because this isn't a story about redemption. It's a eulogy for freedom, choice, and the broken boys who don't fit into the state's mold of acceptable masculinity. For every boy we try to punish into submission instead of understanding. For every man we label dangerous before we ever ask him where it hurts. And maybe that's why this film has to be the last one I talk about this month. Because if August was for the boys, then this is where we leave them. Not healed, not saved, just rewired. Until they no longer remember what it meant to feel anything at all. They clocked him out, and now he's back in the world. Blank-eyed, state-certified, spiritually bitchless. We made the monster, then we mutilated it, and we called it mercy. Clocked out orange. Well, he lived, unfortunately. What's your take on A Clockwork Orange? Does the old ultraviolence turn you off, or do you see a little glimpse of beauty in this tale? Or, maybe beauty is not the right word. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. If you're new here, subscribe. Share this with your favorite devotchkas and drogs. And turn on that bell notification so you don't miss another video. Because next month, guess what the theme is? We're going full camp, bitch. Until next time, my droogs and devotchkas, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and take care of your spirit.